the birth of John, or Gabriel's announcements. Zechariah, we don't give him a lot of credit. We know he was the father of John. We know this story about he did not believe the angel and couldn't talk. But think of the honor this man had. He was the first person in the New Testament era to know that the time has come. The promised one was about to be born. Messiah was on his way. Elizabeth being the second person to know. This couple were honored in many ways. Now you have to understand, Zechariah was a priest. There were 20 to 24,000 priests at that time. The priests were all divided up into 24 divisions. Each division would have about 1,000 men. Now, they took turns. The burning of the incense happened every morning and every night. And so each division would have their week. And during that week, they would have to cast lots to see who would be honored. So Zechariah was one of 1,000 men that could have the possibility of going in there. To say the least, it was a once in a lifetime when your lot was drawn. This was an extremely big honor for this priest to go in there. He was actually a member of the Abijah division, and it finally, he was an old man, but finally the lot fell to him to be able to have the honor to go in and to burn incense. While this was going on, the people would be outside praying. There used to be the morning sacrifice and the evening sacrifice, but they would be outside praying. Now, interesting, just a couple of things that was interesting about that. As they were praying, the most coveted spot would be around the back of the temple, that next to the wall. Now that was a public area, but if you stop and think about it, there's only so much space between the outside wall and the Holy of Holies, which was on the other side, which the Holy of Holies was in the back of the temple, and so people would want to go back there, thinking that to get them a little closer to God. Also, they would pray until they saw the smoke go up from the incense. And that was their viewpoint as their prayers going up to God. So they were out there praying, waiting. That's why they were amazed that he was taking so long. They were looking for him. They were looking for the smoke to come up. And so this was what was going on. And then the fact that when he did come out, there was a ritual, there was a prayer, there was a blessing that he was to give to the people. So when he couldn't talk, what he was supposed to say, the words he was supposed to say, taken from Numbers chapter 6, verse 24 to 26, is, the Lord bless you and protect you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord look with favor upon you and give you peace. So when he came out and he tried to say those words, he couldn't talk. And the people knew that he had seen a vision, because there would be no other reason why he would not say those words. Those were said going all the way back to Aaron. So they knew what was going to happen. I always think it's interesting looking at this story about Gabriel. In this story, he goes to two people. He goes to Zechariah and he goes with Mary. Now notice that both of these cases, he is appearing to them in a physical person. Oftentimes they would see an angel or see the Lord in a dream or in a vision. But no, in these two cases, they were physically there. And so they were not sleeping. They were not seeing a vision. But the way Gabriel reacts, both people, Zechariah and Mary, basically said, how can this be? With Zechariah, it's like the angel got, well, how dare you not believe me? I mean, I stand in the presence of God and you don't believe me? Well, because of that, you can't talk. When Mary said it, he was saying, no, Mary, all things are possible with God, and he was much more sympathetic. Now, this is just me. He reacts different. This shows to me that these angels were not just robots. They had a personality. They had a will. And God gave them a certain amount of leverage. God gave them an assignment, and He allowed them to fulfill it. With Zechariah, he didn't have much patience. Struck him that he couldn't talk. Now, that was probably God's will anyway, but with Mary, it was much more sympathetic. When John was born, he was born to have the Nazirite vow, which would be his entire life. Most people who took the Nazirite vow, it was just for a certain time period. It was not for their entire life, but John had it from birth. Same as Samson. Samson had it as well. And good possibility that Samuel also had it. Those were the three that we know about. 2 for sure, and maybe 3. Well, just a few insights about this story. Come back next week when we give you more insights on the story of the week. We'll see you next week.